Coming at you from the AO Studios, it's the Fade Route with D and Z. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Coming at you live from the AO Studio.
Ayo.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D, and we got a great show for you tonight. David Wright will have his jersey retired.
Woohoo.
Jimmy Butler wants out of Miami. And Tyreek pulls himself out of the finale against the Jets. But we'll begin today's show with Black Monday. 2024 regular season has ended. It is coming on. Doug Peterson, Gerard Mayo, Antonio Pierce, Lou Amarillo were all canned, while Brian Daboll, Joe Shane, and Kyle Shanahan were retained. So, Z, what was the biggest surprise to you on Black Monday and Tuesday?
Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were safe from a couple weeks ago. The fact they kept Trent Baalke but let Doug Peterson go, I find that very interesting. I mean,
Titans too, right? Titans fired their GM, but
they
kept their...
Yes, they have the number one pick.
They have the number one pick, and they decided to can their GM.
Yeah, and keep the head coach.
Yeah,
Ron Carthon.
Carthon's gone, but Callahan's staying.
Okay, all right, dude. You do
when it
you,
works.
I guess.
It's great.
But the most interesting one was the Gerard Mayo thing, just because you don't know. Like, was it really immediately after the game? Was there no indication that Robert Kraft was going to have such a quick trigger, considering the multiple times that Gerard Mayo ran afoul with the media, going back all the way to his opening presser, where there were conflicting reports as to whether or not the Patriots were actually going to spend money for him. Turns out they didn't, but he said they would. So was he getting false promises? It's a very murky, kind of salacious thing that has an extra wrinkle of drama now that Mike Vrabel became available. So this kind of reeks of the Patriots are just trying to get out of whatever contractual obligation they had. Gave him a shot, didn't really give him much to work with, via con Dios, and then we're going to go with the guy we wanted. Antonio Pierce is not shocking, although the palace intrigue of the Raiders' job is available. Do they swoop in, trade with either the Browns or the Giants, take Shedeur Sanders, hire Coach Prime, and now it's Coach Prime and Shedeur taking their talents to Vegas? It really starts to fuel that. Another interesting little bit is the Mike McCarthy thing. Have you been following that at all?
That the Bears are interested in interviewing him, but yes. I guess Dallas still has his rights, I think, until the 15th, and they haven't decided what they're going to do yet, right?
Well, I actually came across the Cowboys have said, "Fuck you." They're not going to let.
I say, "Fuck you, fuck you and your mama."
Oh, you want to interview my coach? That's lovely. That's cute. That's really
eat my ass.
But really, did you really think that Jerry Jones is just going to let you do that? I understand it's in Mike McCarthy's contract, but it doesn't look like Jerry Jones is going to be making any changes. He already said, I'm not hiring a team president. I'm not hiring a GM. He's riding this thing till the fucking wheels fall off. So that means Dak. That means Mike McCarthy. That means the same old shit you've been getting in Big D that you guys are probably growing sick of. You know, you peaked in the 90s. How about them Cowboys? It is the same old shit. It is the same tired ass stuff.
So here's my thing. I mean, I was very surprised at the Gerard Mayo thing because this guy was waiting in the wings for the last 5 years. I mean, he was the hand-picked successor to Bill Belichick. And you only gave him 1 year and a shit roster, and then you're just going to can him right after the game? There wasn't even like a conversation like on Monday or Tuesday. Like, at least Antonio Pierce got fired today. They fired this motherfucker right after the game, and from everything I've been hearing, this was a surprise. Like, he was talking to the team about an off-season plan and a schedule, and he was looking forward to meeting with the Crafts on Monday to discuss what they're going to do in the draft, what they're going to do in free agency, and they're going to spend some money. They have their quarterback, and Milton looks like he could be a really good backup, or he could be a player in this league. And it just got taken out from under him. So the thing that there's two theories I have here, Z. And one is, you were upset that he won the last game because they lost the number 1 pick, and they could have gotten a lot of draft capital out of that. But, I mean, he's not going to instruct his players to lose. The other thing is that you already know who you want to coach this team. And if you're going to say it's Mike Vrabel, then why didn't you just hire Mike Vrabel last year? So, you know, the thing about it is the Patriot way is over, okay? The Patriot way died with Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Hightower, all those guys, Julian Edelman. It's over. Like, no players are going to be able to thrive in a system like that ever again. And if you're going to just hire people that were on Bill Belichick's coaching tree, then you're just going to get the same results. You're not going to win championships. You're not going to be able to repeat what you've done. It would make sense to me if you said, you know what? We did this year with Gerard Mayo. He's a lot like Belichick. That's not working. We need to get out of this. We need to get away from this. We need to be more open-minded. We're going to get somebody from college. We're going to get, somebody that's just a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more fun. Okay. Yes. Okay, I can get on board with that. But if you're just firing this guy to just sign Mike Vrabel, and I don't understand that at all. And then the Crafts lose all respect from me.
Well, all reports indicate that Gerard Mayo, as a coordinator, was very relatable to his players, got along with them very well, and was not that guy. So that's very interesting that, he's held up as this like bastion of the Patriot way. All reports seem to indicate that he was the antithesis of that as coach. So I wonder what the hell happened. Maybe the britches were too big, right? Maybe it was a situation where the seat was just too big for him, going from coordinator to coach. This wouldn't be the first time that a coordinator's gotten hired and really got to see what he got himself into. Like, how many coordinators have we seen do that? It happened to McDaniels. How many?
Well, listen. I mean, the job of head coach, it's a lot more work than being a coordinator. Okay, because when you're a head coach, you've got to deal with personnel. You've got to deal with the salary cap. You've got to deal with medical. You've got to deal with players. You've got to deal with the front office staff. There's a lot more that goes into being a head coach than being a coordinator. When you're a coordinator, usually you're dealing more with the X's and O's. You're dealing more with the game plan. Not to say that the head coach doesn't deal with the game plan. There's a lot of other shit going on that you've got to work through. And yeah, maybe it was too much for him, but again, it was his first year. There's no way to practice for being a head coach in the National Football League. Okay? No. Even if you're a head coach in college, that's not being a head coach in National Football League. And if you're a coordinator in National Football League, that's not being a head coach in National Football League. Being a head coach in the National Football League is a lot. And to treat a guy like Gerard Mayo, who's given so many years to the Patriots and so many years to the Kraft family, with a year, it's just disrespectful to me.
And you could tell that it bothered Patriots' brethren, right? Gronk, they cut him off before he said something that he was really going to regret.
And Rodney Harrison, I saw, got really upset about it too.
Yeah. But, like, if owners had the same response to this situation like Robert Kraft had with Gerard Mayo, Jimmy Johnson would have been out after 1-15. Right? So there needs to be a little bit of patience. But this team is not going to be able to, like, go from the basement to the playoffs. They're not a quarterback away, right? They're not a position away. They don't do anything particularly well. They don't do anything particularly well.
They're bad, but I do think they have their quarterback.
They do.
I do think they have their quarterback, but that's about it. They don't have anything else. And really,
Stevenson's good. He has a fumbling problem. Christian Gonzalez is
good.
Yeah,
he's good.
He's good.
But I think they need to. They're one of the teams that in this draft, you really got to trade out. You don't. You don't need Shador Sanders and Hunter's good, but you don't need him right now. That's not what you need. You need like 5 players.
Yeah.
So I would trade out and take whatever I can get. I'll take three picks. Really, because you're just really looking to bolster everything. And there's no real big dominant team in the AFC East. You could say it's Buffalo, but let's be honest. Buffalo is the top dog by default, right? Who are they really going up against? There's no world beaters. There's no world beaters in the AFC East.
Well, I do have a question for you about that, considering the fact that once again the Dolphins, and we'll talk about them in a second. I want to talk about I just want to touch on 2 South Florida teams, and then we can delve a little bit deeper. The Dolphins seem to be perennial contenders, and then Tua inevitably gets hurt, and they're on the outside looking in. At what point are you cutting bait with Tua? At what point?
They can't. They just gave him an extension. They can't. Their bet is made, which is fine because next year is the quarterback draft, right? So he'll be in year 2, I believe, of the 5-year deal, something like that. He can't. This offense is kind of built around a quick throwing guy like him, and they've made their bet. They decided this past season that they were going to go with him. So yeah, this is who the Miami Dolphins are. This is who the McDaniels, Mike McDaniels. This is what the Mike McDaniels Dolphins are.
Yeah. Well, apparently,
and from what I've heard from inside sources, that everybody down there is out for themselves. They're not much of a team, and it's just really the players run that team.
It's not surprising whatsoever, man. That's not surprising whatsoever. You look at the collection of guys on that roster, and we'll start with the Cheetah, right? It seems like a very me first.
Jalen
Ramsey, yeah.
They dropped Odell, but Odell was on that team.
True, you're absolutely right.
It's just the culture down there. I mean, I think Mike McDaniels is a great X's and O's guy, but is he a head coach? I mean, I've watched him on Hard Knocks, and after about 10 minutes of him talking, I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Like,
yeah.
What are we doing? Are we going out to practice? Are we ready to go? Like, he's just not, he's not a John Harbaugh. He's not a Jim Harbaugh. He's not a Mike Tomlin. He tries to be in some of the things he says and some of the analogies he gives. He tries to be that guy, but he's not the guy that you're getting behind when you're running out of the tunnel.
No.
No. He's not, like, even we're going to talk about this in the next segment, but like Tyreek Hill took himself out of the game on Sunday. You think Tyreek Hill's taking himself out of the game if Andy Reid is his coach? You think he's taking himself out of the game if Mike Tomlin's his coach? Like, it just goes to show you, like, there's no respect there. You don't realize that your actions go a lot further than you just wanted to pull yourself out of the game. Well, now you've brought into question my head coaching. You've brought into question, do I have the hold of this team or not? And this is a team that traded a first, a second, a third and a sixth for you, and you're just going to take yourself out of the game? Eesh.
Because he got tired of playing with Patrick Mahomes. He got tired of winning. Tyreek Hill got tired of winning. So that kind of tells you all you need to know about Tyreek Hill. And you know what? It should have been okay. They should have Antonio Browned his ass. Okay, you decide you're gonna pull that shit. You're gone. Goodbye.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, we'll get into it right now.
Let's do it.
So the Dolphins were eliminated from playoffs contention when the Broncos won on Sunday. And after the Dolphins lost to the Jets, Tyreek Hill spoke to the media and indicated he would probably not be back next year. And he took himself out of the game on Sunday in the fourth quarter, refusing to go back in. And listen, the Dolphins have definitely been up and down with Hill, while the Chiefs are thriving without him. But Hill has made the playoffs every year he's been in the league. He's been a top 5 receiving yards, top 5 in touchdowns, but not this past season. I believe he only had 700, 800 yards receiving, and he only had 6 touchdowns. I mean, I don't know. He had his exit interview today with the GM. He did not formally request to be traded. I'm assuming he was frustrated after the game, but some of the things he said, you can't say that, dude. Like, you're supposed to be a captain. The team gave up, I believe, they said it's a first, a second, a third, a sixth. I believe that's all and I think they might even given him a 7th for him, right? And this was also a guy who, when it came to contract time, told the Chiefs, because the Chiefs said, we're not going to pay you. Where would you like to go, sir? I want to go to the Jets or the Dolphins. No problem, Tyreek. We're sending you to the Dolphins. Now, you can't go to the Dolphins and be like, I want to be traded. Well, then, if you want to be traded, sir, we're going to decide where you go, not you, because we already gave up a shit ton of fucking picks for you. So we'll decide. So if that's really the route he wants to go, he can go that route. But they built this team around Tua, throwing to him and Waddle. So I don't know, Z. Is there a market for Tyreek Hill?
There's always a market for a guy that you think can be a game breaker for you.
Like, if you're the Chargers, are you like, let's call the Dolphins. Let's see if we can get something for him. Let's see if we can get Tyreek Hill over here.
It's kind of...
We're a receiver away.
Well, it's funny. Like, we're going to talk about Jimmy Butler later, too. Like, the actions of the player have eroded his own market. So it's very much let the buyer beware. You know what you're getting into when you're trying to trade for Tyreek Hill. The problem is, with the actions of this past Sunday, he has kind of shot his market straight in the foot. Who has the leverage in the trade? It's any team that's calling the Dolphins. The Dolphins have a player. Yeah, he's a disgruntled player. He's also 30, right? He's had a precipitous dip in production. He went from 1,800 yards last year to he didn't even make 1,000.
I like how he said, "I need to do what's best for my family." Best for your family. The Dolphins made you the highest paid receiver, merely resetting the receiver market.
Wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough.
You need to do what's best for your family? Because they didn't do enough for you? The Miami Dolphins didn't do enough for you.
It's absolutely insane.
You are very misinformed, my friend.
No,
because a team that you left has not skipped a beat since you left. They've won 2 Super Bowls since you've been gone. While the team you went to can't win when it's 40 degrees or less.
Yeah, that's definitely an indicator, but it's also very apropos of how soft the organization was. So,
I think there's a market for him.
The Chargers would probably take him, but at a reduced price.
If I'm the Chargers, I'm looking at that and I'm like, well, we're going to call them. What's going to take?
So
what's it going to take? Because they pair him with Ladd McConkey, and but the only problem which I don't know if he's going to get on board with, the Chargers are a run-first team. We're a running team here. We throw the ball when we have to, and we have one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Here's the thing, though. This is now the second team.
Call him?
This is the second team he's torpedoed, though.
But he didn't. What do you mean torpedo? Like he left?
He torpedoed his relation. He torpedoed his relationship with the Chiefs. He torpedoed his relationship with.
See, I don't think he torpedoed the relationship with the Chiefs. The Chiefs were just like, we're not paying you, dude. Like we're not resetting the receiver market for you. That's basically how that went down. That's all that was. Because they love him there. They would take him back. They're not going to pay him though. We're not. Our money is tied up in our quarterback and our tight end. We're not paying the receiver. We can win. The Chiefs lost their number one receiver this year. They still went 15-1 or 15-2 or whatever they finished at. Rashee Rice got hurt in the 6th game. I know because he was on my fantasy team. They're still the number one seed. The only thing that matters there is Patrick Mahomes and Steve Spagnuolo.
Well, no, Travis Kelce was has been their number one wide receiver. Yes, he plays tight end.
I think Noah Gray had more touchdowns this year because this might be Travis's last year in Kansas City.
I think he's playing his way out of it. His production has definitely taken a step down. They have Watson, they have Gray. You're absolutely right. So the Chiefs are going about this the right way. Like, I mean, look who they brought in. They had MVS at one point. They had Juju. Like, are you forgetting?
They still have Juju.
They still have Juju, and they have DeAndre Hopkins. They don't need
so
you. They don't.
I heard he's a very nice man. Nice man. Very humble man.
DeAndre Hopkins is a pro's pro.
He's a pro's pro, believe it or not.
The Chargers, absolutely not. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't.
You're not giving them a call. If you're the GM, you're not going to give them a call. What's it going to take? What are you guys looking for?
I just think the risk is not worth the reward, especially
cash.
Yeah. So I am definitely not concerned. I'm definitely concerned about what may happen to the organization, to that locker room, if I bring in Tyreek Hill, because he made himself a little bit of a pariah here. So who would you say is a receiver away, right? The Broncos? Would the Broncos call? Sean Payton ain't putting up with that shit. Sean Payton isn't putting up with that, though.
Yeah, but he would. I think the Broncos should definitely call. Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's worth a conversation, but
fucking Ravens should call.
The Ravens they needed a receiver for years, man. So, it's definitely a possibility. Now, other than that, like, nothing is like jumping out at me, right? Because you have the Vikings have their guy, right? They're not the Lions.
Vikings got two guys.
The Vikings got two guys. The Lions seemingly don't need him.
They got two guys.
They got more than two guys. The Packers doesn't fit. He doesn't fit. No. Not a good fit.
No.
The Eagles find a way to fit everybody. Somehow.
Got two guys.
Why not a third? Howie Roseman will figure out a third. He'll figure it out. So,
Pittsburgh.
Oh my God, Mike Tomlin would no way in fucking hell put up with that, dude.
He wouldn't put up with that, but think about how long he had Antonio Brown there. And it really wasn't until the end where it was, okay.
When him and Le'Veon Bell.
Right.
Yeah.
But think about how long Tomlin kept that together and won with that. And they're also a team that could be in the market for a quarterback in the offseason. They could bring in an Aaron Rodgers. They could bring in a Sam Darnold.
Oh, God.
They could, right? I mean, after this season, are you sold on Russ? Are you going to extend Russ? You're not going to extend Russ.
No.
Thanks for coming. This was great. But now we can do better.
Him and Fields.
Yeah, they're gone. They're gone. You're telling me the Steelers aren't going to try to get Sam? I think so.
I don't know. That's a little too rich for their blood, I think.
What, to pay him?
Yeah.
No, he's getting the Baker deal, man. Everybody's going to be giving him the Baker deal. Ain't nobody making him like one of the highest paid quarterbacks. Don't be surprised if the fucking Steelers bring in Kirk Cousins.
See, now that makes sense. That makes sense. He fits the bill.
I need you to deliver the football and not fucking turn it over. That's what I need you to do.
Until he got benched for Michael Penix because he kept turning the ball over. So
I blame that more on the offensive coordinator there. I don't really believe in the system they have down in Atlanta. That system should be blowing. They should have so many points with Kyle Pitts and Drake London, and they've been struggling for years. They've been struggling. I don't know what's going on there. It's just not a good. Like they should be. I mean, they should be as good as the Eagles are with all the talent that they assembled on offense, and they can't get it together.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be interesting. I don't see. I mean, it's the character stuff for me more because Tyreek Hill is talented. He's a talented. You can't dispute.
He's probably the best wide receiver in the league. Not downplaying it. I mean, he is so fast. I mean, yes, he had a down year this year, but he is incredibly fast. He cannot be covered. He's always open. But how about this idea? How about this one? Jamar Chase's contract is up. You could trade Chase to the Dolphins and you could take the Tyreek contract and give the Dolphins Chase, and they can renegotiate that contract. How about that?
That would be insane.
How about that? Because that's a possibility. Because Chase is gonna want more money than Hill.
Yeah, he definitely would.
So we're like, all right, we're not gonna pay you more than Hill, but how about we trade you to Miami and they'll pay you more than Hill, and we'll take Hill's contract.
I mean,
Joe Burrow and Tyreek Hill,
and only Tyreek Hill because you're bringing back T Higgins too.
T wants to come back. T is willing to take less money to come back because he's only caught passes from Joe Burrow his whole life. I don't blame him. I wouldn't leave if I was T Higgins. I wouldn't leave. He's the best. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Where am I going? It's going to be better than this.
And this is the same problem with a lot of players, is wherever the most money is. The problem is that the willingness to take the less, but being on record and saying, I'm willing to, you're going to get a shit deal. You're going to get a shit offer. Okay, you're willing to take less. How less, Mr. Higgins? How much less are you willing to take?
Shit, imagine if Ben Johnson goes to Jacksonville and Jacksonville calls the Miami Dolphins.
See, that's the intriguing team we were talking. That was the second Florida team that I was thinking about. You fire Doug Peterson, who is an offensive guru, right? That's kind of if Trevor Lawrence can't perform with an offensive guru, what's it going to take, man? Now, is Tyreek Hill going to get frustrated the moment that Trevor Lawrence isn't delivering him the ball? Like, is it going to be, is that going to be the case? Are they going to, if it's Ben Johnson, are they using him more creative? Is it more creative, application? Possibly. So
yeah, Ben Johnson's very creative. I don't see any creativity in Doug Peterson's offense, and they have talent. I mean, their wide receiver this year had a great year. They have Travis Etienne. That contract's expiring. They had Ingram, tight end.
Oh Jesus!
They have talent.
They do. Now, what about, here's kind of an outside the box one. People aren't. I mean, you're not really thinking about it because they were so bad. But if the Raiders decide to swoop in and call, Tyreek Hill feels like a Raider. He definitely feels like a Raider.
He ain't going there to receive passes from O'Connell. But maybe.
But would he go for Shedeur Sanders?
I don't think so. I don't think he wants to deal with a rookie. But maybe the 49ers. They could trade one of their wide receivers for him. Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel. I think he'd like to play in San Francisco. And they'll get him the ball.
Well, it's possible. I mean, Purdy did look rather human this year, so we'll definitely kind of see where that's going.
When owning a home, it's important to have heating and cooling professional available when things go wrong. Air Care Technicians is a veteran-owned HVAC company servicing the Westchester area. They are licensed to service, repair, maintenance, and replace all HVAC units. If your unit is not running properly or you would like to improve the air quality in your home, contact Air Care Technicians for a free quote. They offer same-day and emergency services for all of your needs. You can reach them at 914-315-1547. Air Care Technicians, 914-315-1547.
Transitioning over from the pros to the Saturday players. The college football playoff is down to 4 teams after
Friday and Saturday.
Friday, Saturday, sometimes Monday.
Just not Sunday.
Whatever's on whenever ESPN needs a game. What do we got? Southwestern Arkansas A&T. Okay, perfect. Let's
go.
Let's fucking go. So it's down to 4 after this past weekend. The teams that had the byes all lost. Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
Just how they drew it up.
Completely how they've had this plan. The final 4 are Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. So what are your thoughts on the playoffs so far, and who you got moving forward?
I mean, listen, you had... It's just a waste. It's a waste. I just would have been more happy if we just had the top 4 teams play for the national title, and it would have been over by now. It would have been over today, actually, probably.
Yeah.
And it could have been something fun, like Boise State against Oregon. Would have been fun. Like, when are we ever going to see that final again? Or when would Boise State ever have a chance to win a national title? Like, it's just, I thought of it in 2 different ways. The first way I thought about it is, ultimately, right, we probably have the top 4 teams that should be left, right? So these are probably the teams that should have been ranked 1 through 4, with your Texas and your Penn State and Ohio State and what have you, probably. But then the other part of me is like, well, I'd rather have the unlikely 4 be in there because it's more exciting, it's more fun. Oh, and Notre Dame's the other team, right? It's like, I don't know what they were thinking, giving college students a bye. It just doesn't work, guys. The players on Saturday are different than the players on Sundays, okay? College players need to play. What made you think that giving a team like Oregon a bye and then having Ohio State play a game and then go play Oregon for the second time this year, how the fuck that was going to turn out? Like, did you really think like Oregon was going to thump them? They were going to come out in their opening drive and score a touchdown and just be on top the whole game? Like, come on, let's be real about this. And it just, we're being setting unrealistic expectations for college football players and college football in general. Notre Dame got beaten by Northern Illinois. Everyone in Northern Illinois is rooting for Notre Dame to win the national title. Why? So they can hang their hat and say, we beat the national champion. Because that would never happen in a BCS, right?
No.
In a BCS era. And that would have never happened in the original college football playoff. Same thing with Michigan. Michigan is rooting for Ohio State for the first time ever. Because if Ohio State wins, they're going to say, we fucking beat your ass in the horseshoe. I don't give a fuck if you won the national title. We beat your ass that year. How's that going to sit? How's that going to really settle in?
See, that's the thing about professional sports versus college sports, right? Oh yeah, we beat you. Yeah, tell me how my ring tastes. No, that it's a different mindset, man.
In that rivalry, it means everything, right? In the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, that means everything.
Which is kind of insane when you think about it. Because, like, why do we play? We play to win. We play to win championships. You're on record.
But that's not the way college football's been designed for the last 60, 70 years, right? It's been designed where 11-1 or 10-1 plays 11-0, or 10-2 plays 11-1. Like, that's the way this thing has been designed. It's like the two teams that have been the best are playing each other. You're going to tell me the two teams that have had the best seasons are going to play each other? No. The two teams that survived this fucking wacky college football playoff are going to play each other. This whack ass thing. That's what it is. Like, Texas is probably the best team left, so I would hang my hat on Texas because they're the best team left. But it's just this is the product we've gotten, and it's garbage, right? Like, Georgia got beat because they didn't have their starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, let's be real. Georgia lost to Notre Dame because they didn't have their starting quarterback. If their starting quarterback is in that game, it's a much closer game.
Yeah, losing Carson Beck was huge.
It's huge.
But
so
here's the thing,
how
man.
much faith? So how much faith do I have in Notre Dame, who lost to Northern Illinois and beat a Georgia team without their starting quarterback? How much faith do I have in an Ohio State team that lost to Oregon, but then beat Oregon and beat SMU to get to this round of this fucking playoff?
So,
come on.
So what you're saying is you're banking on Penn State, Texas? Is that your final? Because Penn State plays Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl on the 9th, and then Texas plays Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl on the 10th.
Yeah. That's what I'm rolling with. Just because this is the way it nets out. What I don't understand is this whole everybody wanting to have like an NCAA basketball tournament bracket. Like, you have the NBA trying to fucking play around with it with this NBA Cup, and you have now college football doodling with it, and then you're gonna have the NCAA try to expand to 72 teams at some point. Like, it just doesn't work for college football. That's not what college football is. If you want to have 4 teams, great. 8 teams probably makes more sense. 12 teams is stupid, and 16 teams is even dumber. I mean, that's probably where they're going. They're probably going to have to go to 16 because they're not going to put less teams in this thing.
Well, because of the conference tournament, some of these seeds that had buys had 3 weeks off.
Yeah. And the other part is like the regular season doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I don't need to win. I need to just make it to this college football. I need to be the 12th best team or the 10th best team. That's all I need to do. I just need to get into this thing. Because then I get a chance to play in SMU. I get a chance to play in Tennessee. I get a chance to play at come on. You're expecting Boise State to win like 4 consecutive weeks in a row against top 12 teams? Come on, man. Like, come on. Like, yeah, can Texas do it? Probably. Penn State usually sucks, but I think they can string together some victories. Ohio State's a blue blood. They can do it. Notre Dame is new to this, but they've done this shit in the past. Like, it's just giving, like, if anything, the Boise States of the world should be pissed off at this college football playoff, because what it did is it gave them bullshit hope. It gave them bullshit hope. Because, yeah, you could finish as the number 3 team in the country, but you're not going to play for a while. And when you do play, you're going to play a well-rested Alabama team. Or you're going to play a fortified Notre Dame team. Or you're going to play, a strong Oklahoma team. Like, you're going to play a team that's had time to get ready to play your ass and beat the shit out of you. So, like, the same thing with Arizona State. Arizona State got shit end of the stick, Z. They did. For a team that, had a really good season, this could have been a chance for them to win a national championship, and they got taken away from them. That's my opinion.
This did not go the way the NCAA wanted it.
No, it did,
No
Z.
way.
It did, Z, because they got 4 teams that have a ton of money, and that's what they wanted. You think they wanted to see Boise State in the Final Four?
No, I think they wanted...
You think they wanted to see Arizona State in the Final Four?
I think they wanted
You don't
better.
think they're doing backflips that Notre Dame is in the Final Four?
I think they can do better than this.
No way. They're so happy Notre Dame's there. They're so happy Ohio State's there. They're so happy Penn State's there. They want the eyeballs. They want the numbers. They want the alumni. This is such a juicier, and now they've had it for weeks, right? You've had Ohio State playing for weeks. You've had Notre Dame playing for weeks. And what a dream come true. All these teams are made it into the 4.
No, I think that if Alabama was in here, you would get even more people. If Georgia, they would be happy. I don't think they're happy with this result. I don't think they're happy with the top 4 teams getting bounced the way they did. It looks bad. It looks like they don't know what the hell they're doing. It looks like they should have seeded better. Like it looks Mickey Mouse. So I think that if these were the 4 teams, if these were the 4 teams that had the bye, okay, I think they would have preferred that. If it was 1, 2, 3, 4, I think they would have preferred the 4 best teams. But if that was the case, why fucking expand to begin with? If you just wanted the top 4 teams, why bother?
The other thing I want to say is I don't want to hear the revisionist shit. Like, I don't want to hear Kirk Herbstreit saying, well, Oregon didn't deserve to be there. No, motherfucker, they did. They did, and everybody put them there. So I don't want to hear that. Oregon beat everybody in front of them, and they deserve to be number 1. I don't want to hear anyone say they shouldn't have been there. There are 12 teams in this motherfucker. I don't want to hear, oh, they shouldn't have been there. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that. You don't get to say that anymore.
No.
Nobody gets to say that shit in a 12-team college football player that this team didn't deserve to be here or this team was not seated properly. Shut the fuck up.
If you're going to do this, you have to do it right. Oregon got the number 1. Nobody should be getting 3 weeks off. They're not giving the Chiefs 3 weeks off. The Lions aren't getting 3 weeks off. No, you get 1 week off. That's it. And even then, in college sports, 1 week off makes a huge friggin' difference.
Right, but in that scenario, Z, that's a 16-game playoff. Because they're going to make that team play 16.
Right. But at the same time, you have to kind of level the playing field a little bit. So that 3 weeks off, they're going to be rusty as fuck. You're going up against a hot team that just survived and advanced to get to the next round. This is going to keep happening.
But the thing about it is I'm tired of college football. I'm tired of it. It used to be over by now. We got 2 more weeks of this shit.
So here we go. I'm taking Notre Dame just because I don't believe in Penn State. I'll do Notre Dame, Texas, right? The Cotton Bowl's on the 10th. We have 10 more days of this shit. The national title game is on the 20th. Why? This is bullshit. This is absolutely elongated for no goddamn reason. Why? It's pointless. Just play the fucking games already. Get it over with.
Step outside of your safe area and make a statement without saying much. With FCK Clout Lifestyle Apparel. Embrace the colorful chaos and stay emotionally regulated in their graphic tees, hoodies, snapbacks, accessories, and more. Go to fckclout.com today and check out current season and past season merchandise for men and women. Get it while you can. That's fckclout.com. Check them out today. fckclout.com.
And speaking of getting it over with, Jimmy Butler has said it officially to Miami. Trade me. Get it over with. He's officially requested that trade. And he was fined for conduct detrimental to the team, too. And he was suspended, so... it's called his bluff. Fuck that. So... arguably the best player on the Heat is no longer happy in South Beach and thinks he'd be much happier someplace else. Sounds like. what does the market look like for Jimmy Butler? And who are they going to move? Are the Heat actually going to move him?
This thing is so fucked up. This is so fucked up because it's on both sides, see? Because he wants an extension. It's like, dude, we just gave you $50 million and you didn't win shit.
Yeah.
I ain't giving you any more money. Get your ass in here and play. And his whole thing is he wants more money. And then this whole thing is ruining his trade value. I don't know where he could go. I mean, originally I thought the Knicks should try to get him, but Pat Riley ain't going to trade with the Knicks.
No way.
You go to Golden State, you go to the Suns. The Suns are bad. Give us Bradley Beal and like 7 picks, and we'll take Jimmy. And you could have Jimmy Butler.
We'll take him off your hand.
I don't know. You know, the one thing the Heat are good at, right, is they're good at maximizing players, right? It's the Heat culture there. Like, think of everything they got out of Duncan Robinson, right? Think of everything they got out of Tyler Hero. They got so much out of Bam, out of Bayo, that he don't got any left.
Oh, shit.
They got so much out of Jimmy, but it's over, right? It's over. Like, the Heat aren't winning a championship. And I just don't know. I don't know where you go from here, because you're not going to get everything you want for him. And let's be real. He's an aging superstar. I mean, he has it, but he has it when he wants to have it. Okay, there's a reason why he didn't stay with Philadelphia in a fucking stacked team. There was a reason he didn't stay with the Bulls, which were trying to build something with him. Like, this is who Jimmy Butler is.
Minnesota,
that was that team. You would think they would have won more, and they didn't. I mean, they had a great team there. So I don't know. I don't know what the market is for him. I don't know what you're willing to give up for him, and I don't know if they can trade him. Z, I don't know if there's a team out there that's going to be willing to give up what Pat Riley and the Heat are going to want for him.
Any contract is tradable. As we've found out in sports, hold your nose, make the trade. It's what you are willing or what you're able to stomach, which is why Jimmy Butler will most likely end up on the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, it just seems like something like that. Like, you're coming in here, you don't run the show. This is Giannis's team. Like, go over there, stand in the corner, shut up. Like, it's going to be that kind of situation. He's going to have to go to a place where he's not the guy. And you mentioned Phoenix. He wouldn't be the guy in Phoenix. Is Kevin Durant living and breathing? Then, no, Jimmy Butler is not the guy. Golden State already said they're out.
Yeah, but see, the Suns are in 11th place. They just moved Bradley Beal to the bench. They're hurting. I mean, that's a situation where maybe you do trade a Devin Booker. You know, we got to do something. It ain't working. It's just not a good mesh of talent. You know, it's just, they're not going to win anything. It's not coming together there.
We kind of figured that was going to be the case anyway, but it's really just coming to light. I mean, he burned his bridges. He can't go back to Philly. Like, he can't. That situation's not happening. He's not. You can't go. The Bulls, you know, they're building something. They don't need him. The Knicks are building something. They don't need him. Even like even if you traded him to back to Minnesota, like, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work because he wants to be the guy. He wants to be paid like the guy. He wants to be the system, right? We talked about, James Harden is the system. Jimmy Butler wants to be the system. Like, he wants to be the guy. And in the past, Jimmy Butler was able to be the guy, right? He was able to be playoff Jimmy. 35 ain't 30, which ain't 25, which ain't 20. Jimmy Butler's getting older, right? There's more tread on the tire. There's more miles on the car, so to speak. You can't command that. You just can't command that. The way you play and the way you're going about this. Again, it goes back to Tyreek Hill. You're poisoning the well. You're ruining your market. If you played nice, you probably could have been able to call your shot. Oh, I really like Memphis. Trade me to the Grizzlies. oh, Sacramento's nice this time of year. Maybe I'll go to Sacramento. If you played ball, if you didn't try and force things, but instead you took the tactics you took, and now Pat Riley is standing up to you. Because Pat Riley don't take shit from anybody. If there's one thing we know about Pat Riley, he don't take shit. Especially disrespect, or perceived disrespect. So, Jimmy Butler's essentially lost all leverage. You can sit there and rot, or try and make this thing work. Because you ain't getting back what you think you're getting back. The team isn't going to get back what they think they should get back for you. And you're not going to get the money you think you're going to get, dude. It's not there. It's just not there for you. You're not that kind of player. Not anymore. So, I don't know. There's a select few. And then, of course, like, we should dance around. We've been dancing around it. Should the Lakers trade for Jimmy Butler?
No, the Lakers should trade LeBron James. That's what the Lakers need to do.
A reunion in Miami? Straight swap. LeBron for Jimmy?
I think LeBron should go to Golden State.
Oh my God. That would be like the ultimate super team. Just like the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Not 4, not 5, not 6. Oh, Jesus Christ. Speaking of number 5, though. Former Mets third baseman David Wright will have his number 5 retired by the New York Mets on July 19th against the Cincinnati Reds. Wright had several prominent years with the Mets, didn't win any championships, though. So what are your thoughts on his career and his jersey retirement? This was written by D for me, but now I turned the tables on. How you like that?
Listen, I think he was a very good player. I get a little strict when it comes to retiring numbers and putting names in the rings of honors and things like that. I think that kind of stuff belongs in your high school or belongs in your college. But when it comes to professional baseball or professional sports, what did you do for the team? Like, what did you do here? Okay? And as great of a career as he had, they made it to one World Series and they didn't win. I'm okay with them putting him in the Ring of Honor. I'm not really so keen on them retiring the number 5. It's a prominent number. When I think of Tom Seaver, and I think of who else got probably Doc Gooden. David Wright. I don't really think that way, because now, like, let's say Mark Vientos he's their third baseman right now. I would think he's going to be their third baseman for the next 5 years. What if in the next 5 years they win 2 chips and Mark Vientos is the second best player on that team? We're going to retire Mark Vientos' number? I mean, it just gets stupid. Like, look at all the numbers the Yankees have retired. But to defend the Yankees, those guys have actually won World Series. And most of them deserve their number retired. Are we going to retire Jose Reyes' number? They both played together for so long. And I'm sure Reyes holds some records for the Mets too. I mean, records get broken. Wright's records will be broken. If you're a Met fan, it's a great day, I guess. I'm sure a lot of people will be excited to see this happen. But as an outsider, as a guy who's just a fan of baseball, I don't think there are people in fucking Colorado that know who the fuck David Wright is.
All right. So, like you said, it's a team recognition. First and foremost, if the team feels that he has earned it, then I'm all for that. Now, he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory before the spinal stenosis in terms of numbers. Because at the end of the day,
sucks for you.
Yeah.
It sucks for you. I'm sorry. Sorry. So was Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson was on the fucking way to being the best football player ever, but he fucking hurt himself and he didn't get to finish.
So in team history, yeah, it does. It absolutely does. But if he continued on the track that he was, David Wright certainly would be in the conversation. Now he's going to be off the ballot. He's 6th all-time in the Mets in OPS.
6th? Not even a top 5.
3rd in batting average. 2nd in homers. You're looking at number 1 in ribbies. Number 1 in runs scored. Number 1 in hits. Number 1 in doubles. 2nd all-time in games played.
He played there for fucking 14 years. I hope so.
So, he is...
It's like Jeter getting his 3,000 hit. The motherfucker played for 20 years. I hope he has 3,000 hits.
If you have multiple records for a team, I'd say that's a pretty good reason to be honored by the team. Yes, records are made to be broken, but when you are one of the offensive best on a team,
yeah,
you should deserve some recognition. I agree. I think we are in agreement. Now, where your sticking point is the retirement of the number.
Yes, I'm fine with him going in the Ring of Honor. That's fine. I think fan favorites should go in the Ring of Honor. The Jets are very good about doing that shit. Putting guys that did absolutely nothing for a team, but were fan favorites in the Ring of Honor. Nick Mangold, Ricochet Ferguson, yeah, throw their names up there. That looks fucking fantastic. Absolutely. You want to throw it up there, it's fine, but no one's ever going to wear the number 5 again? Really? Really?
I don't have a problem with it. The organization can do what it likes. So they didn't consult me when they asked. They didn't consult me.
If they consulted you, what would you have said?
Sure, why not? It's your team. Sure, why not?
He just didn't do it. Like let's talk about Don Mattingly, right? Don Mattingly didn't have.
I'm glad you brought him up because you mentioned rings. Don Mattingly doesn't have any rings.
Right, but
Yankee fans, stay away from me. Don Mattingly doesn't have any rings. I'm sorry.
But what does Don Mattingly have, though? What did he do while he was with the New York Yankees that David Wright never did?
Won an MVP?
He won an MVP. What else did he do?
Not tag Joey Cora out twice.
He won a batting title over his teammate, Dave Winfield. Super impressive.
Let's talk about the 80s Yankees. The biggest group of from 1980 to 1989, the biggest group of underachievers in Major League Baseball history. You had the most wins and won UGATs. So you like to rag on the Mets? Let's talk about it. 80 to 89. Absolute basura.
That's fine. That's fine. But to me, this is a good criteria for a player to get his number retired. Like, he was an MVP. He's a 9-time Gold Glover. How many Gold Gloves does David Wright have? 1? 2?
Let's see.
Probably, I'm going to say 1 or 2. He doesn't have more than 2.
And you know what? Gold Glove isn't exactly...
That is super fucking impressive. What do you mean? It's not exactly.
No. The way... There's a team Gold Glove now. They're not as impressive as they used to be, dude. There's a utility man Gold Glove. It's not what it used to be. It's not.
He played for 14 seasons. How many times was he an All-Star? Was he an All-Star 14 times? Was he an All-Star 10 times? I'm guessing he was an All-Star 5 times. He had 5 good years.
2-time Gold Glove, 7-time All-Star. 2-time Silver Slugger.
He had 5 good years. And I'm sure those prime years were like in his mid-20s to early 30s. That's when he peaked, right?
He retired.
25 to 30 was his best years.
He retired at 35.
Am I right, though? Is it his best years were from 25 to 30? He just hit stride at 25. I'm sure 25 he batted like 300.
So you're looking at his best power years were 07, 08, 24, 25.
Yeah.
And then they opened Citi Field. And
He's like everybody else, bro. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, for a guy who didn't win a championship, you want to put him in the Ring of Honor? No problem. Now,
nobody's saying put him in Cooperstown.
You want to retire
Nobody's saying that.
No. You want to put a foot down and say, okay, no one will ever wear this number again. I need a lot more than 2 gold gloves. 2? No.
Two.
Yeah, I need more than 2 gold gloves, bro. Like, or Ray Ordonez has more fucking gold gloves than that, man. Are we putting Ray Ordonez in the Ring of Honor? Are we retiring Ray Ordonez's number?
Which one, 0 or 10?
0. But come on, like that's all I'm trying to say is like you setting the bar too low, because I would assume that in the Mets history that one day someone is going to break all of David Wright's records, okay, and that player will win 1 to 2 championships, and if that happens, you've set the bar so low that we have to retire his number now. Because he played for 14 years, he was a 10-time All-Star, he was a 9-time Gold Glover, and he won 2 World Series. We have to retire his number. Because we retired David Wright's number. Just think about Nolan Arenado. Perfect example. Should the fucking Cardinals retire Nolan Arenado's number? Absolutely not.
No.
But he does deserve probably to be in the Cardinals Ring of Honor, right?
Most of what Nolan Arenado has done that was positive in his career was done in Colorado.
Oh, okay. So
the Rockies Hall of Fame, yes.
So let's flip it. Yeah, perfect. He should probably be in the Rockies Hall of Fame.
Yes.
But we're not going to retire his number for the Rockies, right? We're not going to retire 28. No. And I'm sure he has more Gold Gloves, more All-Star appearances, more Silver Slugger awards, and is probably a bigger fan favorite in the state of Colorado than David Wright is in New York.
It's very interesting. You're comparing the fan base of a team that is extremely regional.
All I'm trying to say is that I think he was a wonderful player, a good person, nice guy, great with kids. Should you be in the Ring of Honor? Absolutely. Thank you for all the time you've spent here. But to say that no one will ever wear the number 5 again because of how well you did here? What? That's fucking not. That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. That just doesn't make any sense at all. I just don't get it. I do not get it. None. At all.
So, let's try and put this in a way you will get. Let's try and find a brave. Let's find a brave right now. Jeff Francoeur. Let's call Jeff Francoeur. A guy who, yeah. Right? Come on now. Beloved by the organization, local. If they wanted to retire 7, who gives a shit, dude?
No! Of all numbers, no way! 7 is one of the most treasured numbers in all of sports. We are not retiring number 7 for fucking Jeff Francoeur. I don't care if he cured cancer. We're not fucking retiring that number.
Oh my god.
Yeah, let's look at Braves retired numbers.
It's the team's prerogative.
Chipper Jones.
Okay.
John Smoltz.
Okay.
Bobby Cox. Yeah. Dale Murphy. Yeah. Warren Spahn. Yeah. Greg Maddux. Yeah. Phil Niekro. Okay, I'd have to look at Phil Niekro. I don't know if I'm behind.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. Eddie Matthews. Yeah. Hank Aaron. Yeah. Tom Glavine. Yeah. Jackie Robinson. Yeah.
No, don't give me the Jackie Robinson shit.
We're not fucking
That's the entire
retiring
league.
Ron Gant's number 5 because he had the highest batting average on the World Series team in 1991.
But if they decided to, who gives a shit?
I would say it's stupid, and they shouldn't retire his number. No way, absolutely not.
Between that and Hall of Fame inductions, dude,
God.
that's coming next week. So I hope you really take a breath.
Jesus.
Take a breath.
We're gonna
man.
retire Mark Lemke's number because he was just such a great second baseman here. No one will ever wear the number 20 again.
You can
He
retire
was such
Mark
a nice
Wohlers'
guy.
number for hanging that slider to Jim Laird's.
Right. Like, come on, man. Like, you gotta do something. You gotta win, at least win an MVP award. Like, this guy didn't even win an MVP award. Like, nobody knows who the fuck he is. To say number 5 will never be worn again. What? But then be fair about it. If you're gonna retire his number, retire Jose Reyes' number.
They still
won't-
might.
Then I could get on board with that.
They still might.
Then I'm okay. It's got to be across the board. I disagree with it, but if you're gonna do it across the board, fine.
They still might. The jury's out. We haven't
Wow.
gotten to that part yet. They just got to getting Doc and Darryl in. They just got to that. They're a little behind the times. It's like Doc and Darryl. It took them how long to get Keith Hernandez in? Come on. So give him time. I think that 7 will eventually end up there. Do I think it's warranted? No.
Wait a minute. With 7, wait, you mean Jeff Francoeur?
I mean Jose Reyes.
Oh, okay.
I mean if Atlanta wants to retire Jeff Francoeur's number, go for it. You can put David Justice up there too. So that's fine. But the Mets I'm sure the Mets will do a Jose Reyes day. Eventually, when he retires, 48's probably going up there. DeGrom's probably going up there. Harvey would have been up there if he didn't snort his way out of the league. So it's the team's prerogative. And if you're, you can choose. It's your hall. If this makes you feel better, if equal application, if it makes you feel better, fine. Put Jose Reyes up there. It's fine. You gotta let this go, man. You gotta let this go.
You can't help but smile when you see a balloon. PopstarsBalloons.com offers spectacular balloon decor for all of life's events, specializing in custom balloon creations and installations for private events, corporate and school functions, photo shoots, brand events, and fundraisers. Led by certified balloon artists, the Popstars Balloon team shape balloons into custom works of art. Popstar Balloons provides full concept balloon design, build and installation services, as well as pre-assembled decor pieces available for pickup or delivery. Popstar Balloons is a woman-owned, small family business focused on providing professional balloon services using only high-quality, 100% biodegradable natural latex balloons made in the US and Italy. They consistently prioritize the safest use and handling of balloons in a sustainable and responsible manner. Popstars Balloons is located in Westchester County, New York, but likes to party at events throughout New York City, Connecticut, Long Island, and New Jersey. Popstars Balloons can also accommodate balloon decor services for destination events. No event too big, no event too small, and their custom personalization service is the perfect touch. They also offer a full line of event decor options like backdrop, prop rentals, tablescapes, dessert table setups, custom signs, and they always deliver with a smile. Whether you're looking for gift balloons, classic decor, or large-scale design for a big impact, Popstars Balloons will create the perfect decor for your theme, vibe, and space. So if you have an idea in mind or need inspiration, Popstars Balloons decor will be the cutting edge and spectacular. Visit popstarballoons.com to pop your next event.
Who's the best of the worst this week in sports? The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award.
All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. You know how it goes. We put up a poll on our X account at FadeRouteDNZ and our Instagram poll at FadeRoutePodcast, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner of said vote is a shout-out on this here show and takes home the coveted Ash Trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted Ash Trophy last week?
I don't.
The New York Jets.
Yes! My man.
The less said, the better. I'm glad that this season's over. I'm sure they're glad that this season's over.
They have to be glad. I heard Garrett Wilson got out of town before he had to face the media again.
Shit.
I'm out of here, guys.
I would love to be a fly on the wall at that exit interview. Like, just to see what the hell's going on. And then apparently Rex got interviewed, and apparently Ulbrich is getting an interview to remove the interim tag. Like, nah. Sorry. You can hit the bricks, is more like it.
Yeah, I think I read something somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. It was...
if they land on Louis Riddick as GM and Rex Ryan as coach, would you consider this a success?
Here we go. It was, before firing Robert Saleh, the Jets were first in yards per play, second in yards per pass attempt, second in opposing yards per game, and fifth in points per game. This is their defensive ranks. After firing Saleh, they went to 10th in yards per play, 26th in yards per pass attempt, 15th in opposing yards per game, and 28th in points per game.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Ulbrich.
That ain't gonna do it, man.
That's not happening, bro.
That ain't gonna do it.
I'm sure the fan base would love that.
Oh God, I just can't stomach Rex again, man. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
The funny part is they want him. Like, the fan base wants him. They think he was wrongly fired the first time.
Jets gonna jet. It's what
Jets are gonna jet.
Jets are gonna jet. It's
Jets
what
are jetting.
they do. It's what they do. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for Alleged Superstar of the Week, D?
Oh, the first one is going to surprise you, Z. First up, I've got Sam Darnold.
Finally.
He was the Sam Darnold show. He was given several chances on Sunday night to put the ball in the end zone against the Lions, and he just couldn't do it. 3 missed passes to Jordan Addison and 2 missed passes to Jefferson. Sam Darnold, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Number 2, Bradley Beal. Currently the 5th highest paid player in the NBA, and you were recently asked to come off the bench for an 11th place Suns team. Bradley Beal, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And number 3, quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, and fuck it, the whole Cincinnati Bengals team. In a year where Joe Burrow played all 17 games, Chase had a career year, the Bengals went 9-8 and missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
Fuck. Last year, the Bengals went 9-8 with Jake Browning as their quarterback. Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow, you are my alleged superstars of the week. What do you got, Z?
I mean, those are great choices. You can't go wrong with that. So, the Bengals had Joe Burrow, who was an MVP candidate, Jamar Chase, who won the receivers triple crown, and Trey Hendrickson, who led the league in sacks and didn't make the playoffs. Outstanding. Out-fucking-standing.
That's really hard to do.
Yeah. Look at all this. Get a look at all this greatness. Home at the crib. I'm going to start with the Cowboys. Let's start with the Cowboys. Cooper Rush had an incentive in his contract if he played 55% of his passes, if he played 55% of the snaps. Not so fast, my friend. Jerry Jones says he didn't know about it. And ultimately, the team decided to go with Trey Lance in Week 18. Now, remind me, maybe I'm getting old, Who's the GM of the Dallas Cowboys? Oh, that's right. It's Jerry Jones. So you're telling me that there's a contract that was negotiated, that was agreed to, that you didn't deal with? Who was he talking to then? Who the hell did Cooper Rush's agent talk to when they negotiated that term in his contract that mistakenly didn't get... it was an oversight? But really, Jerry? Really, Jerry? That sounds like a steaming pile of bullshit to me. That's what that smells like. And then on top of that, the Bears give you an out. They want to take Mike McCarthy off your hands, man. They're dying for it. And you say, fuck you. No, sir. I like Mike McCarthy. I'm going to keep him. Jerry, you may have to let go of the reins, buddy. I'm just saying. Dallas Cowboys, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Number 2, the New England Patriots. You hung Gerard Mayo out to dry, dude. You didn't give him a lot to work with. Sounds like there were some conflicting stories about what you said you were going to give him and what you actually were going to give him. And then, after a 4-13 season, it was up and down. It was rocky. It was inconsistent. You canned his ass. Possibly to bring in Mike Vrabel. Patriot way is dead. It is Kaputski. So, let's all just kind of pour one out for the New England Patriots. New England Patriots, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And then number 3, the college football playoff. The top 4 seeds, the ones who all got buys, the ones who earned them during the regular season for having the best records. Ha! They're all gone. They're all gone. Out. Swept away. No longer in this tournament. Almost makes you wonder what the fuck the point was. If you're going to give teams 3 weeks off and then have them play a team that is a well-oiled machine and ready to go, it almost seems like this wasn't really thought through. But this is probably just the step, right? This is the stepping stone to 16 anyway. This is just kind of like the pit stop. We're going to get more and more until we're sick of it. But not the best of looks in terms of competition for the first year of this 12-team college football playoff. College football playoff, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we said our piece. Go to our X account at FadeRouteDNZ. Go to our Instagram poll at FadeRoute Podcast and vote. And vote, and vote, and vote. And for our nominees.
You're better than that. Just do better. Just do better.
This has been the Fade Route with DNZ. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Catch our podcast on Wednesday nights on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to your podcast. So until next time, stay fade, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review, rate us 5 stars, turn on subscription notifications, and share on social media. Tell your friends and spread the word.